name is Toby Harrell. My audience is Curtis Graves, Marshall Kugel, and Grant Sessoms. College football in America is a multi-million-dollar industry. Colleges and universities make millions of dollars a year just off the sport. And a lot of people ask, how do they make this much money just off of a football game in college? Students. These student athletes put so much work in and all this effort, and they are the people who make the most money for the universities. So you might say, well, a student gets free education and they have their scholarship money, but sometimes this isn't enough. Some students only get paid $2,000 to $5,000 a semester, and others may get a full ride around $20,000 at bigger universities, but sometimes this just isn't enough. They have 40 hours a week of training during spring, and sometimes during the season they have this much time of practice when they're supposed to only have 20 hours. This is kind of a big deal because it puts a strain on the students whenever they have to be focusing on other things. It gives them no free time, and it's really stressful. So if you take in that to account, is it really fair whenever the university makes a lot of money not to give any to their student athletes? The University of Alabama made $46 million in profit last year. They grossed $96 million the entire year for their football program. So, the NCAA put out a couple laws to also keep the students from making their name. Johnny Manziel and Todd Gurley were good examples of this. They were at a fan meet and they were trying to sell some autographs to some kids. They're wanting their favorite athlete on their wall. And they got in a lot of trouble over this. The NCAA made an example out of them and they suspended them for a bunch of games. Is this really fair? Colleges like to advertise their star quarterbacks, their star running backs all over their own merchandise. So is it really fair for a student athlete not to be able to give out an autograph with their signature on it and sell it whenever the universities are doing the same thing? This is a double standard, and it's really not healthy. It's not fair for the student athletes. This is why they deserve to be paid. They're basically, the universities are making money off of the players' names and the players' attributes. This really isn't fair. And also another thing that people don't take into account is that the student athletes are really, really risking their health. They're putting everything on the line while they're playing in these games for the universities. And a lot of people don't understand, but injuries are very, very probable while you're playing the game of football. It's a very rough sport. A lot of student athletes have problems with concussions, broken legs, broken hands, and things like this, and it can be a real problem. It can hurt them in their career later on in life, and it can hurt them in their career if they're chasing for NFL. But it's not the university's cost. If the student athlete, per se, breaks his leg and he's not able to make the team the next year, he could lose his scholarship, and what is he to do? He's played for the university for 2 years and made them plenty of money, but now he's stuck on the street with no job and no education, having a hard time finding anything to do. So is this really fair? Student athletes work very, very hard, and they just don't get what they deserve. Thank you. My name is Toby Harrell. My audience was Curtis Graves, Marshall Kugel, and Grant Sessoms.